This episode is kind of an experiment. I am clearly not speaking Norwegian as I usually do in my podcast. And the reason for that is that I love watching knitting podcasts on YouTube myself, and a lot of the people I enjoy watching the most speak in English. So, this is kind of an experiment to see what happens if I do an episode in English, and I would kind of like to have a way of connecting with a lot of my own favorite podcasters and have them be able to watch my podcast as well if they are interested and just commenting in English and being a part of a different knitting community. On Instagram, I write in Norwegian, except for like the odd post here and there where I'll do an English caption if I kind of want to connect with the designer or anything like that, or I want to do an English caption because it's a small scale designer. So when I tag them and it goes on their profile, other people who want to knit that pattern can understand what I've written about the pattern. And that is kind of the reason I wanted to try an English episode as well. Also, it's a really nice opportunity for me to use my English. I used to speak a lot of English in my teens because I worked at a youth club, and we every year we would have volunteers from all across Europe, and we would all communicate in English, and that helped me practice my English a lot. But the last few years I haven't quite kind of had the opportunity, so I wanted to give myself an opportunity to speak more English. And as always, if you hear weird noises, it's just a baby call. My baby is sleeping outside in her pram on the balcony at the moment, and there's some work going on in the neighboring building, which makes the baby call like crazy, and I only hear the noises from the workers, which is kind of annoying. But yeah, let's just jump into it. Firstly, I wanted to show you my cup, which I always do. This is one of my Moby winter cups that I've just started using. I love using these in the winter because they are winter cups. People tell me that November is technically an autumn month. I don't believe in that. Where I'm from, November is definitely winter. So for me, it's winter, even though today it's sunny and nice in Oslo, and soon I'll actually be taking my daughter to a demonstration. There are a lot of people meeting up with strollers and babies and doing a peace walk for Gaza. So we'll be doing that today. It feels like something I can do for Gaza, as there's not much else I can do for them. So let's jump straight into it. I have one finished object today, and this is something I haven't shown or shared or talked about. And if anyone feels like I haven't shared a lot of knitting on my Instagram lately, it's because it's true. I've been working on this secret project, but for a couple of weeks ago I finally got to reveal it, and it is a Moby sweater for my husband. I haven't washed it or blocked it yet. I just haven't found the time. I bound off just a couple of nights ago, but it's a beautiful, beautiful sweater. And actually, I never thought I'd be able to finish it at all. So I'm kind of impressed with myself for finishing it. I made it from Norwegian wool, DK weight wool. It is called Tinde. It's a Norwegian pelsull yarn, and it's beautiful. I bought 6 skeins and I used 5. It's a pure Norwegian wool, so it's going to be really, really warm. My husband works in a kindergarten outside, so he uses most of his wool sweaters outside and not like inside as a normal jumper. That's why I wanted to do it from a thicker wool. I didn't want to use merino because I find that double Sunday, which the pattern is originally written for, pills quite a lot, and that's like the payoff for such soft yarn. But for something that's as structured as this, I found that I didn't want to de-pill it all the time. It will be just a lot of work, and I'm worried about ruining the structure as well. So I did it in Norwegian wool, and it is so beautiful. It's like this amazing fall red orange. It's called cognac, like the alcoholic drink. And I think it's just so pretty. It is kind of open, like you can see it's kind of see-through. So I could probably have used a second thread like an alpaca or something, but I find it works really well. And if he uses like a black thermal jumper underneath, I think it will be really, really beautiful. Also, I'm looking forward to see how much it blooms when I wash it. I did make a like a little squarey thing before to check my gauge, a gauge swatch, that's what it's called, before, and that kind of bloomed, and I just washed that really quickly under the sink with just some water to see how it would react, and I think it's going to bloom a bit. So hopefully it will be denser, but also when it's worn a lot, I think it will like be more dense. And I think a lot of you know the Moby sweater. It's really, really beautiful, and this has really been a journey for me because last year I knit a Moby sweater for my then unborn daughter, and it was such a slog. I used so much time. I did not want to pick up for the sleeves. I had a lot of trouble remembering which way to do the braids, and I was just having a lot of trouble with it. But this, I didn't really have a lot of trouble with it. Like, I have to read the pattern, especially for the body, because of like the trellis in front. But I didn't find it hard to do. I just had to like remember, but it was so much easier. I felt like it just slid by on my fingers, and it was kind of easy. Like, time consuming, but not hard. And it was really cool to see that I've had a growth from that Moby sweater junior last year to the Moby sweater man this year. And my husband has gotten 2 sweaters from me before, 2 colorwork sweaters, and I just really wanted to do something different. And he's been talking about wanting a new sweater, so I made him this for his birthday present this year, and he was so excited and really looks forward to wearing it. I think it will be beautiful on him. He has like almost black hair and fair skin, so this color looks amazing on him. It kind of washes me out, but it looks amazing on him. So yeah, I'll be showing you this after I've washed it and blocked it. I just have to find somewhere to put it in order to dry it, because I don't have the space on my bathroom floor anymore, which I used to, because now we have like the changing table and our daughter bathes every night in there, so we need a space on the floor. So, and our dog walks on everything that's on the floor, like everything soft he wants to lie on top of. So I don't know where I'm going to dry it, but I'll find somewhere in my apartment where it can dry overnight. And yeah, it is a beautiful pattern. And now that I managed to do the men's version, which is like the white whale of knitting, I feel like I kind of want to do one for myself, but I don't know what yarn yet. I don't think I want this, because this is like a very outsidey kind of yarn. I do love the Peer Gynt yarn from Sandnes, which is actually what this Louvre sweater that I'm wearing is made out of. It probably just looks like a black blob on the screen, but it's one of my favorite sweaters. It's so easy to throw on. It flops really beautifully, and I don't find it scratchy actually after wearing it a lot. I can have it like on my neck, so maybe I'll do a Moby sweater for myself in Peer Gynt, which is like the perfect combination of an inside yarn and an outside yarn, as I'd like to call it. So yeah, that's the Moby sweater man. I'm really proud of myself for finishing this. I did not do the Italian bind off for my husband's sweater just because it's an outside piece. And I find that with Italian bind off, it's harder to like wrap your arms up or like pull it up and it stays there. It kind of wants to go back down. So for practicality, I did a regular normal bind off with knits and pearls, and the same for the body. And I don't think my husband would have noticed the difference if I did Italian bind off. He's not that into knitting. He's not that. He's really impressed that it's possible to do this. He finds it really complicated. He does not understand how it's done. I showed him how I do the braids. He was amazed and mind blown that it's even possible. So yeah, he's really great like that. He really appreciates the sweaters I make for him. And this is the third, so there's no sweater curse in this household. I think the sweater curse breaks after the first sweater anyway. And he's worn all the sweaters I made him. And I really want to make him more. For the amount that I'm knitting, there's not a lot for him. So I should probably knit more for my husband, poor thing. That's the only finished object since last time, but that's a huge finished object, so I'm happy about that. Second is the works in progress. Let's go to something I showed you last time. It's kind of half finished since it's a sock. I finished the first sock yesterday in the hand-dyed Lille yarn that I have this subscription to. Every 3 months I get a skein of hand-dyed sock yarn from Lille, which is a Norwegian hand dyer. And I love her yarn. I've been eyeing it for ages, and now I just jumped the gun and ordered a subscription. So it looks like this. It's kind of wonky now that I've been knitting from it. So I think when I finish the second one, I'll make a new ball of it so it's not as loose and weird in my drawer. And this is how far I've gotten on the second sock. I'm almost done with like the leg portion of it. And it's so typical me that I use ages and ages and weeks on the first sock, and the second one just flows by. I always write down how many rows I'm knitting for each section of the sock when I do one. I note that in my app. I'm using the Strikkejournal by Kimi Munkholm, and I love it, and that just makes the second one of anything really easy to do. And if I'm ever doing the same pattern again with like a similar yarn, I'll just use the same measurements. And then I don't have to keep trying it on. I don't have to measure with like my tape measure and everything. So yeah, it's flying by, and I'm really enjoying seeing the yarn come to life. The next time I'm getting one in December as well, and I really want to do some color work maybe. And I'm going to have a lot of leftover, so I'm going to use this for color work anyway. I just have to find some other sock yarn that matches well enough, and maybe I'll do some for Christmas presents next year, or some for myself, or a children's sock. We'll see. But I really want to see this yarn in color work because I think it's going to be really, really beautiful. Second objects that I'm working on right now, which is active. I also do the Tombow tee by Florence Miller, but that's kind of on hold while I'm doing this sweater. I have been wanting a gray sweater for a long time. I mentioned before that I used to hate the color gray. I found it just not pretty. I didn't want gray in my home. I didn't want gray anything, and then I just woke up one day and I love the color gray. I don't know if that's growth, if I've been subjected to a lot of gray on Instagram lately, which I think might be the case actually. But now I kind of love gray, which is nice because there's a new color to work with. So I am doing just a basic gray sweater. I am using the Marseille sweater pattern by Petite Knit because the Marseille sweater with the black one with the white stripes that I've got is one of my most used sweaters. I just love the fit of it. So I decided, you know what, I'm not going to buy a new pattern for this. I love that sweater so much, so I'm just going to do a solid colored version of it. And I am knitting in Knitting for Olive merino and soft silk mohair. And I don't remember the color names right now, and I didn't bring fresh balls, so I don't know. So I'll put it in the description box. But it's beautiful. Oh, it's lamb's ear. That's the merino. And morning fog or something for the mohair. I don't know. Anyways, it's a beautiful, beautiful gray. It's a kind of a light gray. And I recently bought a new pair of jeans because I gave birth to my daughter this summer and my body has completely changed. So I needed a fresh pair of jeans. And I had just bought them when I went to the store. So I had them in a bag. So I was just holding up yarn to the jeans to see what gray would fit the best. And I landed on this. It's a kind of light. It looks lighter on the screen than it's in real life. And I think it's going to be just beautiful, beautiful, basic, simple sweater to throw on when I don't know what to wear. And that's exactly the kind of pieces I love knitting. The ones that's really easy to wear. And I don't have to think about how to style them or anything. And which is kind of what the louver sweater is for me. It's something that fits with everything I own. Any pants, any jeans, anything. So I can just wear it all the time. I've been wearing this for like a week now. And I just love it so much. And then I have some quite exciting acquisitions. The first one I'm going to show you has kind of a backstory. Because I turned 30 last year, 2022. Yes, because it's 23 now. I don't know what year it is anymore. I lost count after COVID. I have no idea. Everything is just the same to me now. But I turned 30 last year. And for my 30th birthday, my husband got me an alpaca walk. Which means you go to this farm like 30 minutes outside of Oslo. And they have so many beautiful, cute, soft alpacas. And you get to take them for a walk. Like, it's the best concept there ever is. And it was such a chilled experience, and we just got around to doing it because I was pregnant on my 30th birthday. That spring I was really pregnant, like heavily pregnant, almost couldn't stand up, couldn't walk. I was so out of it, so we couldn't do it. And our daughter was born, couldn't do it then either. So now we were just like, we're just going to do it. We'll bring her, we'll have her in the carrier. And it was so nice. She slept through the whole thing. She was so nice about it. And the alpacas was so soft, so plush, so cute. And I want to go back. And one of the really big bonuses about being there is that they sell yarn from their own alpacas. They share them once a year in May before the summer, so they'll be like not that warm during the summer month. And they send it off for spinning and it comes back and it's just beautiful. And this is undyed, so it's just the natural color of the alpacas. The alpaca I was walking was this beautiful beige color, and my husband had a white alpaca, so it felt right to buy these colors. I bought, I think, 3 of the beige and 1 of the white, and I think it will be enough to make a sweater for my daughter. And the plan is to take the novice sweater by Petite Knit and pair it with the Lumme sweater, which I think is one of the most beautiful sweaters I've ever seen. The flowers are so amazing. And I probably have to do some modifications to the pattern to make it fit on the stitch count of the novice sweater. But the Lumme sweater doesn't have a child's version, so I have to make that for myself. And I think if I do the 1 to 2 year old, I will end up with like something in the middle. And I'm hoping I can pull it off. I kind of want that to be my Christmas project this year, to make her that sweater, and I'm just dreaming about it, and I think it's going to be so beautiful if I can pull it off. If I don't, I'll have to do something else, with this yarn because it's so soft, it's so warm. But I would love for her to have a beautiful, beautiful alpaca sweater next winter with the wool from alpacas she has met. That is just awesome. She will be that kid, that weird kid with the alpaca sweater from the alpaca she knows. We also bought her a alpaca plushie while we were there, and we named it after the alpaca I was walking with, and like me and her were walking with, because she was on me, obviously. So that alpaca plushie is now called Alvin, which was the name of the alpaca we were walking with. And he was so cute, and he really wanted to eat the grass, and he didn't want to be in the front of the pack. He just wanted to kind of chill out in the back, and he was so cute. I loved him. I want to go back to see him. Next up is some sock yarn. I am looking for some DK weight sock yarn that doesn't pill too much. And next up to try is this Fjord sock yarn from Hillesvåg. It's a Norwegian mill. It's Norwegian wool. It's it's 80% wool and 20% nylon. So it's nylon enhanced. Can you say that in English? I think it's going to be pretty. I don't know if one skein is enough for a pair of socks, but I'll try. So this will be like my trial hank. And if it works, I can wear them and test it out, I'll be knitting socks for next year's Christmas presents from this yarn. I really want to do socks for Christmas next year, because socks is something you always need. At some point they break, like they're socks, they're supposed to. You wear them a lot. And I've been knitting hats and mittens and all kinds of amazing stuff for Christmas this year, but you can only have so many hats and so many mittens, but socks, you can't have enough of them. So I've found some really beautiful colorwork patterns that I can adapt to make different kinds of socks for all the people in my life that I enjoy knitting for. And I really hope that this will work for that. So that's next up, I guess. Maybe I'll do those during Christmas as well. We'll see. But I really love Norwegian wool. I think every knitter, at least a lot of knitters I know, have like this kind of, what do you call it? A certain way of starting to knit and ending up. Like, at least for me, it was like I'd buy any yarn to begin with. I'd buy any yarn, any gauge, any color, anything that was like kind of cheap. I didn't know if it would fit the pattern I had. Didn't really know how to read the pattern. Had to call my mom a lot in the beginning. Still have to, but not for the same reasons as before. And you start like just buying anything, using anything, knitting anything. It looks kind of weird. It's still fun. Then you go to buying the exact yarn that's in the pattern. Like, if it says double Sunday, I'll do so double Sunday. I won't budge. I won't try anything else. It's what it says. It's what the pattern is written for. I'll do that yarn. Then you kind of go to, I want to try something else for this. I want to do something. I'll just go to the store, ask what they've got that fits, buy that. And then you end up with like, I just want to buy Norwegian wool all the time. That's all I want to knit with. Because it's beautiful, it's amazing, and everyone I know should love receiving stuff in Norwegian wool. And I'm kind of there right now, in my Norwegian wool era. I still love merino, but I kind of want... I never been the one to like buy drops yarn, for instance. Like, I don't really have anything against it, but I do want to make sustainable choices. I do want to know that my yarn was made in an ethical and sustainable way, because knitting to me is supposed to be sustainable, and that is kind of more expensive yarn. And I am lucky, I have a job where I make a decent amount of money. I can afford to buy that yarn, but I do understand that everyone can't, and that for some people the more affordable options are the only options, and I totally respect that. But for me, I can afford it, so I kind of like feel I have to. I don't know how to explain it. It's how I feel about it. And Norwegian yarn, Norwegian wool, I find that to be really, really sustainable. And like Peer Gynt, for instance, I know people who have 50-year-old pieces that look brand new because it's just, it holds up really well, it wears really well. And I kind of want to support that, and I really want to support Norwegian mills, Norwegian yarns, and yeah, I just really want that to exist both now and in the future. So I really want to buy more Norwegian yarn and try them. So this is one of them, a sock yarn from Hillesvåg that I'm really excited to try, as you might hear. The next is also Norwegian yarn, because Rauma recently released this pattern book with traditional Selbu mittens, which are these beautiful, beautiful, beautiful mittens with flowers on them. And if you are Norwegian, you know what I'm talking about. It is the traditional mittens from Selbu. And Selbu is kind of close from where I was born and grew up, so it feels close to home, makes me feel like home. And they have different kinds of flowers, and I just love them. I wasn't going to buy more yarn. I wasn't going to before Christmas. I did anyways, because it's my own fucking money. I'm sorry, I'm swearing. But yeah, I did it anyway. So I bought enough yarn to make 2 pairs. I'm going to do one for myself with a green as the main color and a marled gray as the accent, and I think that's going to be beautiful. I do think I'll make the most traditional one, the one with the pointy rose, and then I bought white and yellow. I'm contemplating doing a kids mittens in this one, the Apelsina rose. I think that's going to be really, really, really pretty. And there is an example in here with orange, so that's kind of where I took the inspiration. I'm not that good at picking colors, so when I see something pretty, I'll just copy it. And I have no shame about that. So the yarn for this is also Norwegian wool. It's from Rauma, who are the ones who released the pattern, and it's called Finull. It's a beautiful fingering weight, I think you call it, Norwegian wool, and it's really, really popular for good reasons. The color selection is amazing. You can do anything, like they have, like think knitting for olive, but Norwegian wool in like the color, because this isn't merino, it's Norwegian wool. It's really beautiful. I want to use it more. I've used it a lot recently, and I feel like this is just the beginning of my Finull journey. Yeah, I'm just looking out because I think my daughter is going to wake up soon, so I have to wrap this up. The last acquisition is an advent calendar, and I can't show you the yarns because I haven't opened it, but I'll show you the box and how beautiful it is. And that is Lille Rilles advent calendar. I have never bought anything like this for myself before. Never spent a ridiculous amount of money on a advent calendar for grown-ups because I kind of think it's silly, but I would have spent this amount on yarn anyway. And like, I felt like this year I wanted something to be really excited for in the Sundays. So this is the box. It is beautiful. It's a cardboard box, beautiful, beautiful cardboard box. Just came in the mail. And when you open it, there are 5 beautifully packed skeins of yarn. There was also a huge bar of chocolate in here, but it had nuts and I'm allergic, so I can't eat them. So I had my husband take it to work and give it away to someone at his work instead. So yeah, there's 5 skeins in here, and when you do the advent, you choose your yarn base. So I did the same as this one, the merino sock base fingering. I lost my train of thought. Yeah, I did that base, but you don't know the colors, which is the exciting part. And it's wrapped in purple, so I can't see anything through the paper. And this year she also has a collaboration with Fabel Knitwear on a jumper that fits the yarn. You have the fingering yarn. I don't know if I'll be making that. I think I have to open all of the schemes and then decide what to do with it. I find that merino, fingering merino is kind of... you can do a lot with it. Like you can do socks, you can do mittens, you can do all kinds of things. So it's kind of a safe option for a yarn base. And it's the same that I have in my subscription for her yarns, the Lille yarns. I'm thinking about changing my subscription next year just because I'll have 5 skeins here. It's one for each of the Sundays and one for Christmas Eve. And I'm also getting a new skein in December, which means I'll have 6 skeins of hand-dyed fingering sock yarn. So I might switch it up to DK sock yarn to try that, or I'll do some other of her yarn bases. The next isn't before March, I guess. So I'll have some time to decide. I have to open this and see what I want to do with the yarns before I make that decision. But I really do want to try all of her yarn bases, so I'm thinking about switching up my subscription. We'll see. Anyways, I think my daughter is almost waking up now. It's getting near the time she usually wakes up anyway, so I'll try to clean away all of these yarn so she won't eat it, because she's in her eat everything phase. And we'll get ready to go to this demonstration that I talked about in the beginning. Yeah, so this is me speaking English unashamedly on the internet and just seeing what it's like. Comment below if you find it okay. Comment below if you come from somewhere that doesn't speak Norwegian, so I know if it's if it has any like I don't know a word, like, is it worth it? Is it worth speaking English? That's what I want to know. Is it worth making the effort? I didn't find it that effortful. I didn't find it that hard as I thought it might be. I struggle with some of the words because it's not my native language, obviously. But I do enjoy speaking English, and I do sometimes speak English with myself when I'm home alone, which I am a lot these days. And I just find it really fun speaking English. So maybe I'll do this in English if anyone finds it nice, and if anyone wants to follow the English version of me on the internet. It might be a nice way to connect with other people that I'm not able to connect with on Instagram, where, as said, I do write in Norwegian. So maybe this is a easy way to be able to connect with the yarn knitting podcasters out there that I would really want to be friends with. That's kind of what this is. This is my postcard to all of the English podcasters that I love watching. And I want them to be my friends. That's kind of it, really. I like them. So yeah, that's it for this episode. I really wanted to do an episode now. I don't know when I'll publish it, but at least I've recorded it, because there was a lot of acquisitions recently, and I kinda want to try not to buy more yarn before Christmas, because I have asked for gift cards this year to buy yarn, and if I'm going to buy yarn during the Christmas holiday, I really don't need more, because I have acquired a lot of yarn recently, which I need to use. And knit from stash. Yeah, I don't have a huge stash. I've talked about it before, how I did a huge de-stash this fall in order to build my stash in a way that I enjoy more. I think I'll make a separate video about my stash at some point. But now I'm just rambling. I have to get ready. I have to get going. I love talking to you guys. I love making these videos. It's a lot of fun. I'm home in maternity leave. I need something to do when she is asleep, apart from just knitting, because yeah, sometimes you need to talk to people as well, so you don't get lonely. Love talking to you. Leave a comment below, like, subscribe, do all of that crazy stuff, and I'll see you next time. Bye!